Okay guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to tell you the story about the son who obeyed his father. Now there was a fella who lived just down the road and he had two sons. Okay, one of them was called Luke and the other was called Gary. Well, they weren't really, but this is a story that Jesus told to illustrate a truth that he saw when he came down from heaven and looked around him, and he saw that there was two types of people. One who thought that they were amazing. They thought they were really good. They thought that they were going to get to heaven when they died because they did everything right. And they read all the scriptures and they prayed to people in a majestic way. And then there was another set of people who just kind of like managed to scrape by, make a living. They were a little bit dodgy, a little bit like, that bloke down the street who your mum says not to go near because he's a bit scary and a bit frightening, and he has mates who have like bad habits and stuff like that. And then they hang around with women who are a bit dangerous and a bit unpleasant. And it were those people that Jesus said, actually, they're the ones that are going to get saved, not you guys who think you're all amazing and fantastic. So this is a story that explains that. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Angela's going to read that story to you, and then I'm going to explain what it is.
What do you think? There was a man who had two sons. He went to the first and said, "Son, go and work today in the vineyard." "I will not," he answered. But later he changed his mind and went. Then the father went to the other son and said the same thing. He answered, "I will, sir." But he did not go. Which of the two did what his father wanted?
Okay, so basically, the one lad goes to his dad and says, "Look, Dad, I'm not going to help you with that stuff because don't want to." And then he goes away, has a think about it, and says, "Well, all right, then I'll go and help out." And then the other son goes, "Yeah, Dad, I'll do that, no worries." And then he don't do it. So Jesus said, well, which one of them is bad and which one of them's good? Of course, it was the one who refused to do it at first, but then decided he would go and do it. And of course, what we know about that is that, we're all born in a way bad. Okay, so if you think about it, there will have been times when you've done bad things. Okay, you won't have tidied your room when your mum said, you won't have washed up, you won't have done your dishes, maybe you've told lies, or you've nicked your brother's sweets, or whatever it is. So we'll all have done bad things. We'll have even had thoughts like, I don't like that person, I'm going to punch him, or something like that. Or we might have gone like, "Oh, Mum, I hate my mum, she keeps telling me what to do all the time," or something like that. Now, all them sort of things are like what we call sins. But of course, if we want to turn away from them sort of sins, we need God's grace, we need Jesus into our lives so that we can turn away from them. Okay, so this is like the first son who turned away from his sin, his refusal to do what his dad said to him, and he went and did the right things. Okay, so we all need Jesus to help us to be able to do that, because there's bad things that are within us. There's a Bible verse about that Angela's going to read for you.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. We know that we have come to know him if we keep his commands. Whoever says, "I know him," but does not do what he commands is a liar, and the truth is not in that person. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land of the Lord your God is giving you.
Okay, so what we know is that in order for us to be able to kind of do those things, we've got to love Jesus, or love, like Jesus is God, so we've got to love God, love Jesus with all our heart, all our soul, all our mind, and all our strength. Okay, so we've got to do all them things, and we've got to love our neighbours in the same way. Okay, so we've got to love God or love Jesus with all our heart and soul and mind and strength, and love Jesus in the same way. And then what will happen is Jesus will come along and he'll say, okay Richard, or okay people, I'll help you out. Stanley, he's a good boy, is our Stan. Yeah, he does what his dad says because he loves him. Be a good boy, Stan. Okay, so now what we know about this thing, about that changes us as we believe in Jesus, is that it's called grace. And grace is really, something that we receive from Jesus when we believe in him. And all them people that believe in Jesus receive God's grace to do the right things in their lives. All them bad people who think that I'm alright, I don't need any help, I don't need Jesus in my life because I'm amazing. We don't like those people because they don't have God's grace within them. Instead, they just end up like telling people what to do all the time and not actually doing nice things for themselves. So that's our story for this week. The parable of the two sons, one who obeyed his father and one who didn't.